Let us sing our opening hymn. You will find it on the white card in the pew in front of you or in the books. So please stand and enjoy singing with all your heart. Sing from the diaphragm, right, Michael? Yeah, breathe deep. And we're going to sing, Let There Be Peace on Earth. So let us go. And now for our first song, we get to enjoy Michael singing. Michael has been requested by our speaker today, so let's have a nice laugh with Michael and Kim today.
Good morning. I have no explanation for this song other than probably 10 years ago or so, I was asked to sing the same song at another time that our speaker was speaking. So that's all I'm going to say. When I get older, losing my hair, many years from now, will you still be sending me a Valentine, birthday greeting, bottle of wine? If I'd been out till 2:45, would you lock the door? Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? I could be handy mending a fence when your lights have gone. You can knit a sweater by the fireside. Sunday mornings go for a ride. Doing the garden, digging the weeds. Who could ask for more? Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? Send me a postcard, drop me a line, stating point of view. Indicate precisely what you mean to say. You're sincerely wasting away. Give me your answer, fill in a form, mine forevermore. Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
The funniest thing is we were all downstairs getting food ready for later. You guys started singing that song. And I'm like, ooh, good vibes going today. All right, speaking of speakers, our speaker today is Kim Luedtke. She's been a member off and on and around about and spoken for many, many opportunities here. And we just love having her back. And her title of her presentation today is Retired but Not Dead Yet. What are elders supposed to do? So with that, I'm going to leave that one alone. I don't know what elders are supposed to do yet. I'm not there yet. No, I'm kidding. All right, and today we have a meditation being offered by Carolyn Brooks. So we have a lot of different things going on today. All right, so get to announcements. Today's announcements. March 12th, we have meeting at our church is the Bruno Groening group. But if you would like to join that group, you want to have to talk to Janice first and Jeff. God, I get it wrong every time. Jeff is here, and he will let you know how to get in touch with Janice, because they're married. And he will let you know how to get in touch with her and what she will be asking of you about if you have never been before. So that's on the 12th at 7 o'clock. Okay. Then also on March 12th, Sue Hall and her friends are studying the law of attraction and Abraham Hicks, and their book group has changed from starting at 6 to 6:30 to make it easier for people to get there. So 6:30, if you have any questions, it'll be in the meditation room up here, and you'll want to come in through the front doors so we don't disturb what's going on downstairs. So if you have any questions about that, Sue's right there. Raise your hand, Sue. There she is. So you can talk about that. Now, in a couple of weeks, well, actually 3, we're going to be showing a movie called True North. It's described in the newsletter, so I won't go into great detail about that. But if you want to get on the newsletter list, if you aren't already, we have a guest book in the back, on the back table. You just write your email address and your name down so we can send it to you and you can read more about it. But this movie is incredible, and it's a movie about growth and production and winning, basically winning, moving forward and being more positive and things. So it's going to be a really exciting and energetic movie. And that'll be here on the 30th after church, 1 o'clock-ish. We will also have a gal named Jane Barish, who promotes it down in the cities all over the place, and she will be coming up for the day to introduce it and be around for questions and answers afterwards. So don't miss that opportunity. All right, now, next week's speaker, do we have any other announcements? Does anybody else have any other announcements? I know I'm missing something. True North is the thing we just finished. March 16th, next week, our speaker is Bree Montgomery, and her topic is Understanding the Path of Physical Health for Spiritual Development. And I think she's a first-time speaker, so let's come and give her some support next week. And with that, I'd like to say, let's read our principles. Our principles are found on the white card, opposite the side of Let There Be Peace. So, we believe God is the eternal source and creator of all and is present in everything. Our eternal soul, endowed with free will, grows through many lifetimes. Communication occurs between the physical and spiritual worlds. Prayer and meditation strengthen our connection to the divine. All healing comes from Source. Seeking this for ourselves and compassion for others' suffering is the highest priority. Because we are all one, what we do unto others, we do unto ourselves. The choice of love is always open for every soul. Living these principles leads us to grow in divine love. And on that same card, just below the opening hymn, on the other side, is the prayer for spiritual healing. I ask the great unseen healing force to remove all obstructions from my mind and body and to restore me to perfect health. I ask this in all sincerity and honesty, and I will do my part. I ask the great unseen healing force to help both present and absent ones who are in need of help and to restore them to perfect health. We put our trust in the love and power of God. And it's at this point I like to remind everybody about our healing bowl. Our bowl is active 24/7. We also have names that have been put in there by paper, but you could also put your name in that you want healed by intention. So all the prayers that go into that are prayed for 24/7. And at this moment, are there people, there's one prayer that I was just told about. Carolyn Sheets is having issues with her left eye. That's all I know. But let's give Carolyn some love and some prayers and healing for her left eye. And at this point, does anybody have any prayer requests?
Once again, I ask for prayers for my friend Luedtke, who's been having some cancer issues and daily radiation on the side of her face. Talked to her a few days ago, and she's still having to have it, and it's causes her. She has no taste, and it's just tough. And so, just more prayers for her and the whole world. Thank you. Okay.
One prayer I do have is to pray for my snow guy. Not like I need him to shovel right now, but he's been sick for like 12 days. Not quite sure what it is. I did my own shoveling this last time because it wasn't all that much, but I count on him when we get deep snow. So please pray for my snow guy, Mark. Okay, Jerry, keep it short and simple.
Yeah. Prayer for my wife Jane. She's been out in California for a couple of weeks, and she's doing well out there, but she'll get home this next week, so that'll be great for her. Thank you too.
Yeah, safe travels to Jean. Yeah. Any other prayers? Well, with that in mind, we will sing hymn number 74, In the Silence, in Wings of Song. And after we sing the song, we will have a moment of silence, and then Carolyn will start with her healing meditation.
So today I thought I would introduce some of you who may not know of it, or those of you who do want to be reminded about the meditation. It's called the Four Graces, or in Hawaiian, it's Ho'oponopono. And I just want to give just a little introduction before I turn on the music, and then you can sit quietly and repeat the phrases to yourself. This is a meditation that allows us to cleanse our minds, emotions, and memories of past experiences that trigger negative reactions to people and experiences. This allows us to connect with our higher self, the loving spirit that created us in love, the divinity within us. We are asking our divine self to cleanse our errors in thought, words, deeds, or actions that create the negative emotions in the present moment. It causes us to look within and recognize that we are responsible for our own inner peace and well-being. And the four sayings of this Ho'oponopono meditation are, I am sorry. I'm sorry that blockages in me, feelings, beliefs, judgments, cut off my connection to the presence of your unconditional love in the moment and increase my feelings of separation from those in my life and from the power of God within. Please forgive me is the second phrase. Forgive me for the feelings, beliefs, and judgments that trigger this block and veiled my connection to the infinite presence of spirit that made me feel guilty, separate, or fearful, that kept me from receiving the continued flow of your infinite love. Thank you is the third phrase. Thank you for removing the blocks between the earthly God, the earthly ego, and the flow of your unconditional love. When I am filled with fear or judgment, there is no room for anything new to enter, no room for a solution. Thank you for clearing the channel between me and allowing your love to flow unrestricted into the present moment. The last phrase is, I love you. I love you unconditionally and invite your guidance at times when I feel judgmental and unloving or unable to forgive. I know from deep within that you have always loved me totally and unconditionally without expectation of anything in return. So if you'd like to get comfortable where you're seated, take a few deep breaths, center in your heart. If it helps to place a hand over your heart. And then while I'm setting up the music, just think about a situation in your life right now, maybe an event that happened this week, and negative thoughts you might have had about that event, or a confrontation, or a misunderstanding between you and a friend or a coworker that you would like to heal and find peace, bring peace to your inner self about what happened. So when you're ready, you can open your eyes, come back to this present space and time in our little church on the hill. And then let us end with thanks for this time with Infinite Spirit and God or Spirit or Christ's help in removing our blocks of unconditional love. Ask Spirit to see us, to see that the events in our life and opportunities that allow us to remember that we are not as our bodies, we are the energy of a loving divine light that is pure, infinite love, that this light shines on us and through us here today and in our little church on this hill.
I'm probably going to need a box to stand on.
Oh, we can do that.
Okay. Thank you. I know nothing.
That's okay. We do have a bench if you want. Better?
Yeah, much better. Thank you. Good morning. I'm happy to see everybody who's here, and good morning to everybody who's at home watching on Zoom. I know Carolyn said she was going to be on Zoom this morning. We'll begin with a prayer. We acknowledge the presence of the divine, and we invite all angels, ancestors, and entities of light as we gather together to seek deeper understanding and lift our spirits. We say thank you for this beautiful morning and for all our many blessings, especially those we take for granted. Amen. Okay, like Sue said, I titled this talk, Retired But Not Dead Yet, What Are Elders Supposed to Do? It was sort of like, she's like, hurry up, we gotta get this publicity out. I'm like, okay, I don't know, here, it's this. So really, a gentler title might have been something like, we're all just walking each other home, but you know, we're stuck with that now. So, excuse me. Got a little throat thing going on today. Okay. I recognize that I'm preaching to the choir and that many of you are retired elders and you have probably figured this all out, but just indulge me, okay? And to be totally transparent, this is kind of a long talk, so settle in, and I hope you brought some snacks in your purse. On May 1st, 2023, I reached that magical age, 66 and 4 months, full retirement. I previously thought that as soon as I got there, I'd run for the door, but nope, I didn't. I was afraid. I had questions. How long am I going to live? Will I be well? How much money will I need? Will I have enough? So I just let that date slide by. And next, I pondered the date, September 19th, 2023. And I chose this date because I got new license plates on my car. And on it, it said DUN 918. And I thought that was surely a message from the universe, or at least from the Department of Motor Vehicles, DUN 918. And then that date also slid by. Besides being afraid, I also had some coworkers I really liked and a functioning boss, which if you've ever been in any workplace, you know this is not always the case. So I just kept getting up every morning and going to work. But I was getting tired. It was harder and harder to drag myself out of bed at 5:20, do my stretches, eat a healthy breakfast, prepare a healthy lunch, take my vitamins, do my brain chems, go for an early morning walk by the lake before work, you know, all those things that one does to manage an aging body. Excuse me. Most all of my friends were already retired and enjoying their senior discounts, finding the deals for oldsters, just like when we were in college and we knew which bars had free appetizers on which days. So what was wrong with me? Why didn't I just put in my notice so I could go to matinees on weekdays for $7? I got a mental health therapist and signed up for an expensive online class called Art as Soul Language to help me move along and make this transition. I went through a bad patch with my health where I spent more time in doctor's offices than in my job. I remember saying to my boss, I don't see as many clients as some of my coworkers do, but as the oldest person in the office, I have an additional role in supporting my younger coworkers, and she was okay with that. The next retirement target date I chose was October 31st, 2024, the 13th anniversary of when I started my job. That one too passed me by in a blaze of orange and black. I grew up on a farm, so I have this serious work ethic. It doesn't matter if it's Christmas, the cows still have to be milked, and you have to make hay when the sun shines. And I want to read you this poem that I liked when I was young. It's called To Be of Use by Marge Piercy. And since I don't use it anymore, I can tell you now that was my password at work, to be of use. And here's her poem. She says, the people I love best jump into work head first, without dallying in the shadows, and they swim off with sure strokes almost out of sight. They seem to become natives of that element, the black sleek heads of seals bouncing like half-submerged balls. I love people who harness themselves an ox to a heavy cart, who pull like water buffalo with massive patience, who strain in the muck and mud to move things forward, who do what has to be done, again and again. I want to be with people who submerge in the task, who go into the fields to harvest and work in a row and pass the bags along, who are not parlor generals and field deserters, but move in a common rhythm when the food must come in or the fire be put out. The work of the world is as common as mud. Botched, it smears the hands, crumbles to dust. But the thing worth doing well has a shape that satisfies, clean and evident. Greek amphoras for wine or oil, Hopi vases that held corn, are put in museums, but you know they were made to be used. The pitcher cries for water to carry, and a person for work that is real. Clearly, as a young person, I was of the opinion that I was put on this earth to work hard and get shit done. It's okay, you can laugh. I wasn't sure who I would be without a job. So throughout my life, I pretty much always had one, sometimes 2 or 3. Then came the 2024 presidential election. And my fear shifted into high gear. And a few days later, I put in my retirement notice. I wanted my name on those Social Security rolls before the new administration took over and decided Social Security was obsolete. I chose the retirement date of January 21st, 2025, so I could say, free at last, thank Goddess Almighty, I'm free at last. And it was also sort of a gift to myself for my 68th birthday. So, so I'm retired. You can applaud if you want to. Okay, thank you. But I have to admit, the decision to retire was about 3 parts fear, 2 parts exhaustion, and 1 part conscious desire. And when people heard that I was retiring, they'd say, congratulations, what are you going to do now? And I'd say, nothing. Isn't that what retirement is for? But besides just taking care of myself so as not to become a burden on society, which feels kind of like babysitting myself, I made myself a checklist. Okay, number 1, get myself signed up for Life Alert right away. Number 2, drive around for a while with my turn signal just constantly incoherently blinking. Number 3, go to the grocery store with a fistful of coupons and annoy the people waiting behind me by laboriously writing out a check. Number 4, scroll through Facebook looking for weird things that make me laugh. I recently saw a meme about wine pairings with Girl Scout cookies. Maybe that's what retirement is for. Number 5, continue to do my intuitive spiritual work because that is something one never retires from. Number 6, of course, there's my quest for lifelong learning. By the way, I was recently listening to a health podcast featuring a dentist called Ellie Phillips, who grew up in London. And she recommended that after you eat a piece of celery, and then don't eat or drink anything for 2 hours. And she says this gives your saliva the opportunity to do its job, undiluted, cleaning your teeth like a little car wash, and improving the microbiome in your mouth. I thought that was really interesting. That was news to me. So there's your little factoid to take with you. She also said that in Victorian England, a fashionable wedding gift was dentures and complete extractions. So the young couple would not have any dental problems going forward. And I thought that sounded really crazy, so I looked it up, and it's real. I hope no one here got that for their wedding gift. Yeah. Okay, so what was I talking about? Oh yeah, retirement and what old people are supposed to be doing. Dentures sort of fit in. Okay, the final thing on my checklist, number 7. Hopefully I'll do all the things I never had time to do when I was working, like go out for coffee with friends, and maybe clean up all the things I've accumulated, those boxes of paper in the basement and all those books that don't even fit on the shelf. Back in the 1990s, I saw a therapist who suggested I create a visual plan for what I wanted to have happen in my life, commonly known as a vision board today. No one knew what it was back in 1992. But in the time that I worked with her, everything I put on that vision board came into being except one thing. That image was a hand with a ring on it, and the ring was a watch, symbolizing that I wanted to have time on my hands. And now, some 30 years later, or however, you can do the math, I'm preparing to experience the culmination of my efforts. So never disparage the efficacy of the vision board, which I call mystical blueprint. The timing of the results, however, is not up to us. Might take 30-some years. And I just wanted to say about the word retired. I don't want to be retired. I'm already tired. That's why I left my job. You know, I want to be re-engaged, restored, rewired, renewed. You know, who knows what might happen. For sure, I'm not going to shrink myself into J.D. Vance's definition of how older women are supposed to serve the patriarchy. He can pray all he wants to. I'm not doing it. Maybe I'll join Grandmothers for Peace. I feel so mad when I look at what's going on in our country right now that some days I'm afraid I might spontaneously combust. It is especially galling that they claim to be doing these awful things in the name of God. So I do what I can. I call Representative Pete Stauber every single day. I'm sure he's happy to hear my opinions. And I'll show up for a protest if it's not 30 below. Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "When you cease to make contributions, you begin to die." And I'm not quite ready to go on that track yet. But then I think of all the protests I attended in my youth and all the work I've spent my life doing trying to make things better. And this is not the world I wanted to grow old in. I try not to be bitter. So I brought this song that I'd like to play for you. It's called Anyway, and it's sung by Maggie and Suzy Roach, the Roaches. And the words, we aren't sure where they came from. It might be Mother Teresa, or it might be a poet named Kent Keith, or I'm sure Maggie and Suzy Roach kind of had their way with these words too. But it's beautiful words. It's a good song for our times. And in this long talk, you can consider this kind of the intermission.
People
I spent a lot of my life trying to work on good things for women, trying to help with things for women. And there were certainly years when I gave up the fight, sometimes just out of disillusionment, but also from coming to new understandings like that what we resist persists. Maybe the only thing we really can change is ourselves. So when we come upon things that we don't like, can we learn to surrender, accept what is, just breathe, take stock of what we can actually influence in our little corner of reality, come together with others and visualize something better, and trust that something bigger has our back. We can say prayers and ask for help. Here's one I like. It's called A Prayer Before Reading the News by Rabbi Erwin Keller. Here's the prayer. My God, the soul you have placed in me is pure and vulnerable. I am afraid that looking at today's news will be painful. Encircle me in a robe of light so that I can witness the wounds of the world without being wounded myself. Let me learn what I need to know in order to be of my greatest use without feeling overwhelmed by despair. I feel your protective light now as I open myself to the world's suffering and the world's joys. Amen. And this is what Thich Nhat Hanh has to say about suffering, unwise suffering versus wise suffering. He says, unwise suffering is the kind of suffering you're compulsively drawn back to feel over and over again out of habit. It's familiar and thus perversely comfortable. I think it's sort of like scrolling through social media. He says, wise suffering is the kind of pain that surprises you with valuable teachings, and it inspires you to see the world with new eyes. While unwise suffering is often born of fear, wise suffering is typically stirred up by love. The unwise, unproductive stuff comes from allowing yourself to be controlled by your early conditioning and from doing things that are out of harmony with your essence. The wise, useful variety arises out of an intention to approach life as an interesting work of art, an uncanny game that's worthy of your curiosity. We can choose to operate our lives more out of love, less out of fear. Knowing this and being able to put it into practice might be a gift of age. We get better at this as we go along. We could hold on to thoughts like this one from novelist Pearl Kleege, who says, on the other side of the conflagration, there will still be love, there will still be beauty, and there will be an ocean of truth for us to swim in. As elders, we can ask ourselves questions like, can I enjoy retirement as a gift, like snow days from work or school, extra time for my own choosing, ignoring the clamoring voice that demands some sort of productivity? Can I be patient with myself as I am learning a new operating system? Words come out, but in their own time. Nouns and names may be elusive, but when they do show up, it's poetry. Can I be content to give up running on linear time, dollars and cents, and forcing outcomes, and focus more on intuiting what needs to be done today? So what if I sometimes send birthday cards on dates that are nowhere near that person's birthday? Can I accept it's okay to run on my own timetable and embrace not feeling rushed all the time? Can I enjoy the people in my life just as they are without wishing they might be different and trust that this acceptance is reciprocal? How can I tune in to higher frequencies than judgment? Can I take good care of myself and still find some pleasure in existence? Who will care if I put ice cream on my oatmeal for breakfast? Can I appreciate that at this stage of life, it's no longer about status, ego, or getting ahead, and it's more about how much love can I pour into the world, and how do I keep generating energy to do just that? How can I contribute at the highest level with whatever time I have left on earth, and how much more enjoyment can I wring out of this life? Can I remain always in search of meaning, just for the satisfaction of it, and can I be fully present as much as possible, instead of always thinking about whatever comes next? When I can be quiet and calm enough, it dawns on me that maybe as elders, we are just here to be. to breathe through our fears and shine our wise, experienced selves out into the world for the people coming up behind us. We've all been through a lot of living, and somehow we got through it. Maybe it's not our job to spend our golden years fighting fascism. Maybe what the world needs most from us now is just our presence. And here's some words from an unknown author. You may think you are completely insignificant in this world, but someone drinks coffee from the favorite cup that you gave them. Someone heard a song on the radio that reminded them of you. Someone read the book that you recommended and plunged headfirst into it. Someone smiled after a hard day's work because they remembered the joke you told them that day. Someone loves themselves just a little bit more because you gave them a compliment. Never think that you have no influence whatsoever. Your trace, which you leave behind with every good deed, cannot be erased. And that's the thing about love. You put it out there and it comes right home to you. And the love that feeds your outpouring of love, often we are not even aware of that gift. And I have another poem. This one's called The Raincoat by Ada Limon. When the doctor suggested surgery and a brace for all my youngest years, my parents scrambled to take me to massage therapy, deep tissue work, osteopathy, and soon my crooked spine unspooled a bit. I could breathe again and move more in a body unclouded by pain. My mom would tell me to sing songs to her the whole 45-minute drive to Middle 2 Rock Road and 45 minutes back from physical therapy. She'd say even my voice sounded unfettered by my spine afterward. So I sang and sang because I thought she liked it. I never asked her what she gave up to drive me or how her day was before this chore. Today, at her age, I was driving myself home from yet another spine appointment, singing along to some maudlin but solid song on the radio, and I saw a mom take off her raincoat and give it to her young daughter when a storm took over the afternoon. My God, I thought, my whole life I've been under her raincoat, thinking it was somehow a marvel I never got wet. And in some ways, we're all like that mother and that child. So how do we emulate the great loving presence of the mother archetype here on earth? Sometimes we don't recognize being the beneficiaries of the loving presence. And sometimes we don't recognize we are the loving presence. When I left my job, one of my favorite smart young coworkers wrote a poem for me. I have another poem. This one's called I Notice by Scout Beckenbach. I notice a flicker, a flame, warm and steady, reaching places I didn't know needed light. I notice a presence, an invitation to let go of pretense, to rest in the comfort of being. I notice the roots unwilling to yield to the storm, a reminder that strength is quiet, that authenticity is its own kind of revolution. Even when you don't see it, I notice. Near you, the world feels clear. Bravery doesn't always wear armor. Sometimes it wears cozy socks and unmasked tears. Near you, the world feels safer, a thoughtful kindness tucked into the mundane. Near you, the world feels softer, less demanding, as if simply existing is enough. A flame may not see all that it gives, but even so, I notice. And this poem was not just a gift of being seen, but it was also instructions for moving forward. This is what we're here for. And just a confirmation from this morning's tea bag, it's right here, a little cutout. My tea bag this morning said, lift others up with your peaceful presence. So if I had any doubt this was what I was supposed to talk about this morning, it's about presence. It's on your tea bag. I recently watched a great new documentary called Becoming Katharine Graham, and I was touched by her words. She said, I realized that I mattered to younger women. And in my day-to-day work life, I didn't so much notice that, but I sure felt it on my way out the door. And so my wish for all of you is to be seen, to truly see and be present for others, participating in this eternal circle of love, recognizing that we are all being held by the greatest love imaginable, so we might grow in our ability to live our lives more motivated by love than by fear. Thank you for your attention.
All right, so let us have a couple of people grab the baskets and we'll do our offering. Carol, my dear, would you be so kind as to play a little bit of music for us? Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Jerry. Oh, nice little prayer for us today.
Prayer today. And as we are gathered here today, open your hearts, open your mind to the spirit that you are, feeling light, compassion, love, that you are and that we are together. And imagine that we can go out to the universe of love too, where we are all together in a oneness of peace, love, and joy, always together. Hooray, hooray, hooray!
And amen, amen, amen. Thank you, Jerry. All right. Now, we normally have a hymn at this time, but we did have music. Did you have anything in mind? 122 in Wings of Song. All right, that goes very well. All right, so let's start gathering in our circle while I give us a benediction. Source Creator, help us each and every day to find the best expression of our soul, to be rewarded in our lives with a flow of abundance to keep us safe, protected, supported, and have all the benefits of the financial security to help us continue expressing the highest version of ourselves without fear, without worry.